How sex drives evolution.
What is sexual dimorphism? Many species have a wide range of phenotypes. Traits differ between males and females. This is known as sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism includes more than just physical traits. Behavioral differences have also been observed. It has been said that sexual dimorphism violates the evolutionary theory because it reduces survival. Sexual selection increases an individual's chance of getting a mate. It's a subset of natural selection and more common in males. There are two forms of sexual selection: direct competition between males and females' choosiness. The first form of sexual selection is direct competition between males. Males compete to gain access to the female in order to mate. Selection will favor any traits that encourage a victory. This form of selection requires larger weapons, larger body size, or any feature that helps to win physical competition. Males battle with the hope of mating and producing successful offspring. The second form of sexual selection is females' choosiness. Females choose their males based on characteristics, such as flamboyant colors, loudest voices, and displays. Some traits give advantages by attracting a mate. Post-mating competition. After mating, males guard females and prevent any other suitors from mating with female. Some species have been known to use chemicals. After mating, males use chemicals to temporarily block females' reproductive tract. Others use chemicals in semen that make her unwilling to remate for several days. Offensive weapons get rid of sperm from previous mating male and replace it with their own. Investment in offspring. Females' eggs are more valuable because they are so limited. The pregnancy is an energy-consuming process. In males, the sperm is less valuable because it's more easily accessible.
Males and females are very different when it comes to mating. A male will mate with a substandard female, which means a female who's probably weak or sickly. But they will do this because they're able to mate easily and repeatedly. A male wants to produce large quantities of sperm to create a huge number of offsprings. Therefore, their goal is quantity. Now with females, it's the opposite. Their eggs are limited and expensive. Therefore, they look for quality. They want offsprings with better chance of survival. This explains why males are promiscuous and females are picky. Females want to pick the best father to fertilize their expensive and limited eggs. So when you think of differential investment, think of quantity versus quality. Or you can also think of expensive eggs versus cheap sperm. So this is a female's goal, and this is a male's goal. Law of battle is when males compete with other males to win over a female so they can fertilize her limited eggs. However, the female is the one that makes the decision of who's the flashiest based on color, mate call, size, or like the cartoon picture, money. Just kidding. Don't write that down. Sexual dimorphism in socially monogamous species. Monogamous is when species have only one mate at a time. Socially monogamous is when male and female species pair up and raise their offspring together. species who are socially monogamous are not actually monogamous. So on the side, there's a picture of two birds. These are known as the splendid fairy wren. Now, the male and female splendid fairy wren, they spend their adult lives by taking care of their offspring. However, if you look at the picture, the males are a bright blue with some black, and the females are a mixture of gray and brown. Right now, you might be thinking, well, the male bird, he needs to be blue because he needs to compete to win the female, right? That's actually not the case in this one because the males do not compete for females. However, they are still colorful, which is why they are socially monogamous, but they're not actually monogamous. Okay, so let's talk more about the splendid fairy wren. With these birds, when the time to mate comes, the females will begin to mate with other males more often than with the partner they had previously chosen. Males also try doing the same thing. They try doing the same game. They try looking for another pair, or what we also like to call it, the side chick. But they don't have as much reproductive success as the females do. Now, the reason why things like this happen is because, let's say, if males and females would pair up and they don't stray from their mates, and I'm not talking about humans, I'm talking about animals. But if this would happen, if they wouldn't separate from their mates, that means there would be no sexual competition. Therefore, that also means there would be no sexual selection. So far, we have talked about how males are promiscuous and how females are picky. In polyandrous, it's different because this involves a one female and a many male mating system. It's also known as reverse sexual roles because the males are left with parental care responsibilities while the females leave to compete for mates. Now, this mating system is very rare, but it's still found in some species and in some human populations. Polyandrous males have to invest in their offsprings by building their nests and feeding them, just like how females do, while the female leaves and moves on to go mate with more male mates. The picture on the side shows a perfect example of polyandry. If you did not already know, that is a seahorse. The seahorse in the picture is actually a male that is pregnant and is about to give birth to many baby seahorses. Now, if you look at the picture, you can see its belly, which is right here, and little baby right here in the arrow. So we talked about how in the splendid fairy wren, the male bird was bright blue because he needed to compete to win over females. Now in polyandry, it's similar, but the roles are reversed. If you look at the pictures, you'll notice that the male is slightly smaller and has like more of a ring tail to himself, while the female is slightly larger. And if you look at the colored picture where it shows both of them intertwined, you'll notice that the female is actually much brighter than the male. And the reason for that is because the female is the one that needs to compete to find male mates. Also, a fun fact is the male seahorse is the one that gets pregnant. Therefore, he's the one that carries the children and gives birth to them. The way how this is done is the female, she inserts her unfertilized eggs into the male's pouch, where the male releases his sperm into the pouch and he fertilizes the eggs. After they are fertilized, he carries them until they are hatched. The last thing we are going to talk about is Darwin's hypothesis. So why do you think that male birds tend to be bold and colorful and bigger in size, while the females are smaller and lighter in color, even though that's not always the case? According to Alfred Russel Wallace, he believed that females are less colorful than males, so that they are able to camouflage from predators. But then that raises the question of, then why are males not able to camouflage as well? Then Darwin's hypothesis came in, where he believed that sexual dimorphism evolved because of female choice. But then that would raise the question of, why are females choosing? And he believes that females were simply choosing because of appreciation of beauty. He saw it as a possibility that females were choosing beautiful songs and long tails and big features because they found them appealing. Another possible explanation was sensory bias modes, which means sexual dimorphism is driven by pre-existing biases in females' nervous system. This would play a role in natural selection when it comes to survival skills like finding food, other than finding mates. However, in sensory bias modes, female gain neither direct or indirect benefits from choosing a particular male partner. And we'll leave you with this question for you to think about.